All right, this is Mr. Wyrick, and I wanted to come out with a nice informative video, kind of informal today, not talking about a whole bunch of math. Just wanted to tie a tie. So this is my shirt for Easter. I'll probably wear it from home. To tie a tie, I'm going to show you a couple different ways. First thing you got to do, you got to make sure that you have this top button buttoned. It's going to be really important that you have that done when you tie the tie, and you flip the collar up all the way around. When you flip it back down, you might have to have somebody help you out with the back, but for right now, you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to take the tie, and the first one I'm going to do is a half Windsor is what I call it. I'm not sure if it's the official half Windsor, but this is good enough for ROTC. So you have it to where the short part of the tie, the tail, goes down about halfway on the main part of the tie. And with these simple motions, you kind of hold the tail out like this, and you flip the top part over so you can see they cross here. I'm going to pull it down over my arm, and I'm going to loop it around a second time. And that second loop is where our knot's going to come from. I bring my right hand, I come up there, and I just kind of tuck 2 fingers in there. And I'm holding that other loop with my right hand. I'm going to come up underneath, okay? I've got the end of the tie. I've got the main part. I'm going to come up underneath by my chin and come under where I looped it and flip that out. I'm going to pull that out a ways, and I'm going to tuck it down through where I had my 2 fingers on that second loop with my right hand. I pull it tight, and then I hold on to the back, I hold on to the knot, and I can adjust that up a little bit at a time until it's tight. Now, I don't usually wear my tie like this. It's not as pretty of a knot as the other one, but it's one that you can do if you're in a rush. I find myself having to tie this one more often because I'm not used to it. But if you tie it to the right length, the very end of it should come down to about the top of your pants. That's how you can determine if you've tied that knot correctly or not. And you can take the tail, and usually they have these little hooks or tags behind them. You hook the tail behind there. I have a lot of tie clips, a lot of tie tacks, those things, to where you can hold it in place to your shirt, but you don't have to have that. This is just tying your tie. You'd come back down. If you have these little buttons, you'd button it again at that point, but that's how to do the half. And when I do this one at full speed, if I'm getting dressed in the morning and not explaining it to anyone, it's just over, then over again, then up, and then down through, and that gets you a tied tie. This might be good enough to where if you're doing an interview now and you get to do an interview over the phone or in a Zoom or a Google Meet or something like that, a video conference of some kind, like this would make you look pretty good. The next one I'm going to show you is the full. When you do the full, you want to get the tail, and you want to only have about 6 inches over here on this left-hand side. You don't need a lot because you're going to use a lot more of the tie for the knot. So this one's way more complicated. So I'm holding the tail. I come over here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to loop it on the inside. Okay, so I've got a nice loop over here. I come underneath. So see, I've got the back of the main part of the tie over here. I've still got the tail over here, and I'm holding on to my loop. And then I'm going to loop it on the right-hand side as well. So I've got a loop on the left, I've got a loop on the right, and between those 2 loops, it's going to make a nice little V right here that you can kind of see there with the camera. I like to put my fingers right there on that V. Again, this is where I'm going to come through. So I go over across it in the front. Now I come up under my chin. And then I'm going to go back down through that same loop that I have created. And when you tighten this one, it kind of looks like a little square. But this is actually the kind of cartoon, the one that you see in cartoons when they draw with like a V, or you see this on TV a lot. And all you do after you do that is you take the 2 sides up here and you pull them down, and oh, look at that nice V, looks great. It's a great tie. You tighten it up just like the other one by holding onto that tail and sliding the knot right on up, and it comes up there like that. Now, for me personally, and you've probably seen this when we've been at school, if you have me in class, I loosen it a little bit and then I unbutton that top button underneath it because no one can tell. So then the tie is not choking you, your collar's not choking you, it's not as tight, but it looks real formal still because that top button's covered by that nice V there on that tie. So once again, I'm going to rebutton that top button. Again, with one of these, I might tie this 4 or 5 times in the morning, just because I want to get it to that right length. So you kind of have to adjust this. You start with about what you think 6 inches is or so, but you might have to adjust again based on, does it come down to the top of your pants? If you have a thicker neck, you might have to go a little bit less. If you have a skinny neck, you might have to go a little bit more, okay? But this is it again at full speed. I go over, loop on the left, I come under, I loop on the right, I go across the front, and then up and down through. And then I've got my square and I make it into a V, just a nice V. There we go. Now you can tie your tie. You can apply for a job over the phone looking nice in your dress shirt and your tie. And here we are, all professional, and you're ready to go. Maybe I'll make another one of these and I'll tie a bow tie, but that is one for a whole other time. Thanks for watching.